Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate movies. I am your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, the illustrious Aaron Chase.
Illustrious.
Yeah, man, you're illustrious.
Oh, thanks. That's a complimentary word, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Illustrious is a good thing. Illustrious means illustrated. I don't know what it means. I'm not a fucking dictionary.
Right.
I'm just a guy. I look like I read a lot of dictionaries. Pleasure, but
I look like I can't read it all. That's I like the dynamic we have.
it does look like I'm about to start teaching you how to read.
Yeah, dude.
Like I'm going to teach you how to write a college essay.
It's like Stand and Deliver. Is that movie?
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Yeah. Except the whitewashed version of Stand and Deliver.
Right.
The version that Hollywood would make today.
Yes. Right. The woke version.
Right. The woke version of a thing with more white people in it. That's what Hollywood is known to do right now.
I'm feeling it.
Aaron, it's a pleasure to have you on. I'm going to try something different and get the plugs out of the way up front, which is that everybody should go watch Aaron's new one-man show with comedy on YouTube. That's what it's called, right? One-man show with comedy? Something like that?
One-man show and comedy, yeah.
There we go.
It acknowledges that it's not all that funny.
But it's interesting, and I really enjoyed watching it, and I think that people should go check it out. So where can they find that?
It's on YouTube. It's under my comedy production company, The Buddy System Comedy, on YouTube, where we have our podcast and all the other shit. But so is my little special, my DIY comedy special.
Yeah, and if you live out in the Inland Empire, you can go see Aaron performing all over on the streets of Redlands and Riverside.
I got 3 spots that I'm doing, and my plan is to keep jumping from spot to spot so I don't get attacked again.
There you go. That's
ahead.
good.
Yeah.
Well, that happened. I don't think I ever heard the full story about you getting attacked. So, it's a deviation from the movies, but who cares? Let's hear about that.
So I was doing street stand-up with KJ. You know KJ Robinson?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he comes out with me every now and again, and he came out with me that night, fucking luckily, because I don't know if I'd be here right now if there wasn't for that. It was pretty bad. So we did our thing. We packed up. We were just kind of hanging out, and I was sitting on the bench. So, like, imagine I was talking with you and you're KJ, except I don't have a camera to see behind me, and all of a sudden, it's just black. Like, I'm just out.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. And I'm getting up off the ground in complete confusion. There's people around me, like, you okay? What's going on? I'll send you the picture later of me in the hospital. My face was swollen. It was crazy. And,
oh, shit, dude.
Yeah, some dude got mad about something, and he was talking shit when I was unconscious, so I don't know. It's not like I can't learn my lesson if I'm not aware of the lesson I'm being taught. But
right.
He was yelling about how you don't mess with mothers and babies.
Is that what you were doing? Were you messing with mothers and babies?
That's not MILFs aren't my thing, so no, not to my knowledge. But I think if I'm to make a guess, he's either just a crazy person, because I've had to deal with those on the street. Maybe he was on drugs, or maybe I made some sort of joke that he didn't like, or he could have thought I was a different person. I really don't know.
And these are all valid options. It does not make them any better.
No, it was pretty fucked up. And now I have a hospital bill and an ambulance bill of like $2,000. And, that's fun.
Well, I hope that all that gets sorted out.
Thanks.
And in the meantime,
go
help Aaron eventually get money to pay for the hospital and ambulance bill by watching his one-man show and checking out his stand-up and giving him some tips out in the streets.
Out in the streets.
Now, while I do respect all of that stuff that you're doing, I have one big issue, and that is that you want to talk about how much you don't like Spaceballs.
Yeah, I despise it.
Why? Why?
It's
fun.
Yep. Well, if you watch my special, you'll know I'm not about fun.
Right.
No, it was like one long extended dad joke. Does that?
Okay.
And I just like, okay, I'm super pretentious. I'm like really pretentious, and I like film, and I like when it comes to comedy in film, I like mixing of genres. Like, have you ever seen Game Night?
No, I have not. I've heard Game Night is excellent.
Yo, it's so dope. I like seeing, it's Game Night is this weird, it's like dark comedy mixed with mystery, like whodunit, and it's snappy. I think the other thing is like, I think I've been inundated with modern comedy, and modern comedy has this snappiness to it. It's quick, and it's like nobody's waiting for you to laugh. You just laugh or you don't. Whereas when I was watching, I rewatched it. I rewatched Spaceballs, and it was like, we're making a joke. Huh? And I just, it gets on my nerves.
It's okay. Okay. I have to figure out how to approach this, because you hit me with something that I'm not sure how to really break into this effectively.
Okay.
But because I just rewatched it right before we started recording, okay? And I mean, I'm a Mel Brooks fan. I like his work. What do you like the other works of Mel Brooks, his other movies? You like Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles?
I haven't seen Young Frankenstein yet. I'm doing a whole other podcast about that. It's a whole other thing. I'll explain that in a second. I've seen Blazing Saddles, but that was also a long time ago, and I've seen Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Right, okay. So you're familiar with the work of Mel Brooks. What do you think about his other movies? Is it just the style you don't like, or is Spaceballs the outlier?
I would say this style isn't my favorite, but Spaceballs is especially irritating to me. Like, when I watch Robin Hood Men in Tights, I'm like, oh, I can get it. This is all right. I get it. When I watch Blazing Saddles, I mean, if you watch again, if you know me, you'll know why there's an appreciation for Blazing Saddles. And, And for Young Frankenstein, I haven't watched it yet. I'm super excited to watch it though. I hear it's like top tier Mel Brooks.
Yes, Young Frankenstein is really like upper echelon, great, all-time great comedy level.
Yeah.
Movie.
I think, and it's funny, I think, even though I'm going to keep arguing with you about this, I think you're right. I'm learning how to have fun.
Well, that's the thing is like, I mean, so I have a fondness for Spaceballs that upon rewatching it today, I recognize the movie is not at the level that I had it at previously. Like, there's definitely a nostalgic element to the way I remembered Spaceballs. I can see watching it again now that as far as the Mel Brooks oeuvre goes, it's far from his best work.
Yeah. Right?
Like, I think Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein are on a level that really can't be achieved with some of his other work. You know, I like History of the World Part 1. Spaceballs I still like, and some of his other works that I haven't seen. You know, I haven't seen The Producers, I haven't seen High Anxiety. But I do think that Mel Brooks is clearly doing something here that feels kind of low-hanging fruit a little bit. But it's also so just packed with jokes. It's so dense, and it's so beautifully stupid.
I'll give you that. Beautifully stupid is a good way to describe it.
It's so stupid. It's one of the dumbest comedy movies I've ever seen that actually manages to hold itself together the whole time instead of falling apart the way that other dumb comedies have. And it is extremely dad jokey.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that was made for our dads.
I don't have a dad. So, no. Okay, so here's what I'll give you. I think I don't have the nostalgia connected to it.
Okay.
I watched it when I was in college. I think my freshman year of college. So I didn't
Okay.
have that nostalgia connected to it. I think if there was an equivalency, Scary Movie would be my version of it.
Okay.
And that's
Gotcha.
very sad to me because Mel Brooks is, objectively, in terms of filmmaking, way better than those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this nostalgia connection to the Wayans brothers and all that nonsense. And I think it's just, again, I'm learning how to, I know this sounds weird, especially for a comic. I'm learning how to have fun and just be silly and not be a pretentious fuck all the time.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think that does sound that weird for a comic, because I do think comics, on some level, we do acknowledge that we're artists, even if our art form is really, really stupid.
Yeah.
And the problem is that there are people who are like saying, oh, comedians are the modern day philosophers and they're speaking truth to power. And that's not always the case, right? Like, as much as we're fed this idea that comedians are supposed to be the people who are like telling it like it is, right? And preaching the truth and making it funny. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's all comedy is. And if you're approaching it from that standpoint, then I can see why you don't like Spaceballs. Because Spaceballs is absolutely not speaking truth to power. Spaceballs is just a straight up genre parody.
Yeah.
With a couple of satirical elements of the way that those genres in particular are used by the Hollywood system.
Yeah. Fucking Rick Moranis.
Yes.
Best part. Without question.
He's great.
Yeah, there's something about, I think it's the timing as well. I know I was saying it earlier, there's this sluggishness about when a joke hits, it feels like there should be a laugh track. It feels like the
well, yeah, you're right. The pacing is just like that. They're waiting for the audience to laugh.
And if you're not laughing, it's weird.
What was it like the first time you saw this movie? Did you see it in a setting where other people were watching it? Were you watching it by yourself?
I was with a group of friends at another friend's house, and everyone was ranting. That's what it was too. Everyone was like, "No, this is the greatest comedy of all time." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I went into it with like, "This is the greatest comedy of all time," and I had heard. I'd heard, not rumors, but like I'd heard people talk about it before. Everybody spoke so highly of it. So when I went in, I think my expectations were also really high. I thought it was going to be the greatest comedy of all time, when I should have gone into it knowing like, this is silly and just let it be silly.
Yeah. It's silliness for silliness' sake.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid. And it's so dumb. And I do think, as far as dumb comedy goes, this movie is a very effective dumb comedy. Because dumb is hard to do well.
I agree.
There's an artfulness to dumb that is very rare. And this movie has it.
Yeah. One of the moments I really like is that meta, we're in the movie part of it, things like that.
Right, where he goes to get the cassette tape and they're like, how did you get this cassette? Oh, we already have the VHSs as they come out. It's this new marketing tactic.
Stuff like that, it's like I appreciate it. I think that's what it is. Like, I really appreciate and respect Mel Brooks in general, and I can watch that movie and be like, oh, I see why people like this. I can see it. Especially the dad jokiness of it. I can totally, not my dad. My dad would be like, nigga, what the fuck are you showing me? But
what kind of movies did you and your dad watch?
Oh, we didn't watch anything together.
No, okay.
Yeah. My grandpa and I, we watched cartoons together a lot.
Okay.
I watched a lot of, you would think, like I watched a lot of Looney Tunes.
Yeah. If you would watch cartoons, I don't know why you don't like this movie.
Yo, okay, here's how
They literally turned this movie into a cartoon within the past decade.
But did they?
Yeah,
nice.
They made a Spaceballs in Canada, but they made a Spaceballs animated series.
I want to see that. I think what it is human beings can't match the speed of cartoons. So, like, when I watch Bugs Bunny, when Bugs Bunny does Bugs Bunny shit, it's on the page, so they can make him do it's limitless. Whereas with Spaceballs, human beings can only move so quickly and so cartoonishly for it to work.
Right.
So, like, if South Park was live action, that shit would be not fun. It would be very dark.
Right. I mean, I think that part of why this movie does work for me, at least, is because, yeah, you're right. No human being can be at the level of a cartoon, but you get in this movie, it's so well cast because you have people like Rick Moranis and John Candy, who are among the best comedic actors of that generation.
Yeah.
Who are the closest we're going to get to cartoons.
I agree. I think that's why I respect. It's like what you just said, like the closest we're going to get. I agree. It is the closest we're going to get. But, okay. Have you ever watched Nostalgia Critic?
I've heard of him. I haven't watched.
If you ever feel the need, if you ever get curious to watch it, I love Nostalgia Critic, and I appreciate Nostalgia Critic when he's not trying to be a cartoon.
Okay.
When he's trying to be a cartoon, there's just something awkward about it for me. It's maybe it's a timing thing, and it's frustrating because I want to like it. When other people love movies, I'm like, oh, I want to also love that movie. And I was watching it, and I had to take pauses. When they shot the laser beam at the dude's balls,
yeah,
I was like, I understand why that's supposed to be funny. You're right. Testicles. You're right.
Yeah, it's a balls joke. But that's the thing is, like, it's so weird. We're running into this
loop
with this movie.
Yeah.
We're like, I see what you see. Like, I understand that it is super dumb, and it's like, that's a balls joke.
Yes.
They're making a joke about they're saying suck a bunch, and they're saying, they went from suck to blow. And it's like it is really the lowest of the lowest hanging fruit. The fruit is practically like rotting on the ground. That's how low the fruit is hanging. But literally, I would say 90% of the movie is lines like that, where every joke is about as low hanging a fruit as you get. And then a little bit of those jokes are very smart and meta and interesting.
Yes.
Which is I think what keeps the movie from falling apart is that you can tell with this movie that Mel Brooks wasn't trying to do like a big social satire the way that he was doing in Blazing Saddles, or a movie parody that's not just pure genre parody that incorporates other elements the way that Young Frankenstein does. This is a movie that's made to be dumb.
Right.
And it's made to hit a certain, like, juvenile
sensibility.
Yes.
Okay, how about this? Because I do want because I be saying this over and over. Like, I want to enjoy it. So mentally speaking, because I'm going to give it some time to watch it again. Mentally speaking, how would you suggest I go into this movie?
Okay. Having just watched it and seeing that we're sort of like meeting in the middle a little bit.
Right.
What I would say is you gotta watch this movie. You gotta watch Spaceballs with low expectations.
Okay.
I think that the problem with what you have experienced, I never diagnose people on this. This feels weirdly therapeutic right now.
Dude, every podcast I do is therapeutic. I really am working on myself. You'll see. Good.
So what happened with you is that you had, when you watched this movie for the first time, everybody played it up, right? Everybody looked at this movie and we're saying this is one of the greatest comedies of all time, or the greatest comedy of all time.
Yeah.
And it's not the case. It's a really well-made comedy movie. But it doesn't crack into greatness levels, I don't think, unless your whole steez is like, I'm gonna watch the dumbest movies possible, and I really want to be like on that level. And even if you do think that like a dumb comedy is the best movie possible, then do something. Then like Spaceballs doesn't even crack that either. Monty Python, I think, does dumb way better than Spaceballs does, because that incorporates the social satire elements.
I haven't watched. God damn it. The night he gets his arms cut. There's so many.
Yeah, Holy Grail.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in forever, but I have fond memories of it. There's something surreal about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I watch Holy Grail, or even when I watch, I can't say scary movies surreal. That's not, no. But when I watch Monty Python, there's this like, oh shit, this is weird. Like this is really strange, and I like that.
And it's like that from the very beginning too, with the whole like the subtitles and the credits.
Yes, I haven't watched it in a long time. I have to rewatch that too. But I think maybe it is expectation. Like when you said to rewatch it again, I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it because I knew that going into this, people were going to be like, you don't like fucking Spaceballs, you fuck? Like, I knew that. So going in, I was like, I'm going to love this movie. And it just, waves of frustration hit me.
See, and that, I think that speaks volumes, dude. I think that the problem is you a little bit. And it's not, this is getting therapeutic. Here's the thing.
Okay.
The movie is what it is, right? The movie is a dumb comedy that has a couple of smart elements, but it's a dumb, like, dick and fart and poop joke parody. Literally, one of the characters is named Barf.
Yep.
All right? Like, this is not a smart movie by any means. It's a movie where Mel Brooks is throwing everything he can at the wall.
Yeah.
And seeing what sticks. And because it's Mel Brooks, and because Mel Brooks understands comedy on a like preternatural level, a lot of it sticks. But if it's not your sense of humor, which it doesn't sound like it is necessarily, or if you're going in there still trying to expect it to like blow your mind and be this top tier 5-star golden age level comedy, then you're going to be disappointed.
Yes, I would say that it is a mentality thing going in. I agree.
Uh-huh.
And it's one of those things where, yeah, therapeutic, get ready. This is just what it is.
Let's get in there.
Let's get in. Let's see what's
Let's
wrong
dig.
with Aaron. I've been watching you remember, did you watch cracked.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched Cracked.
I went on for years binges of YouTube videos like that overanalyzed things. Like I was entertained by them, but I think what ended up happening was it like made me start overanalyzing literally every piece of art. So I've been kind of distancing myself from that. Like I went down YouTube rabbit holes for years of analysis, and Spaceballs does not need an analysis.
No, Spaceballs is a movie that does not need to be analyzed. It tells you exactly what kind of movie it is.
Right. It's the opening, the fucking opening crawl. I was like, oh yeah, I know what this is immediately. And I still stand by the statement that it's dad jokes among dad jokes among dad jokes, and that really isn't my sense of humor. But I know that under a certain perspective or going into it a certain way, it can be enjoyed. It's just a matter of how you go into it. And so it's going to take me years to undo all of the over-analysis in my head. But eventually, I'm going to come back to the movie. Like 7 years from now, I'm going to rewatch it, and I'm going to message you and be like, bro, I rewatched Spaceballs. I get it. That one shit joke, golden shit joke. I get it. Like, that's what I hope for.
But that's the thing is, like, you don't have to, that you also don't have to do that. Like, you can be, I think you're in an interesting precipice right now where, like, you recognize that you watched a lot of analysis videos of things. And I've fallen down those rabbit holes too. Mine are not about film and TV. Mine are usually about, like, YouTuber drama and that's my shit, or like or figuring out if what I've been on now is there's this gal Ann Reardon who has a channel that's ostensibly about cooking, but mostly what she does is she watches viral videos from YouTube and Facebook and stuff. You know, all those like top-down shot videos of recipes where it's like, you mix all this, and then they speed it up real fast and they mix it, and then all of a sudden it's like, this is how you turn cheese into ice cream.
Yeah.
And some weird shit like that, right? Her channel basically like watches those videos and tries out the recipes as shown in the videos and shows that they're all bullshit and debunks all of them. She's fascinating because she also gives you an understanding, and watching YouTuber drama too, it gives you an understanding of why certain strategies work well on the internet and why clickbait works and like a clickbait formula and that kind of stuff too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. What I'm really trying to get at is that at some point, and I think because you're how old, right? You're
29.
You're 29. Okay, so we're a year apart, and we're at the same age now where we're starting to really. I think in your 20s, you sort of absorb a lot of opinions and you absorb a lot of content and art, and you talk to people and you sort of form an opinion of the world, and you get an outlook on things that is based on what other people have told you. And then I just turned 30, and I remember in 28, 29, and in the first couple of weeks of being 30, I'm starting to really think like, what is my actual opinion on things?
Yeah.
And do I believe the same things that I enjoyed previously? Do I still enjoy them? Do I give things another chance? Do I need to take a look at who I hang out with, or the things that I absorb and believe them differently? And it sounds like you're just at that same crossroads. Like, you're in the place where you're like trying to really examine what your own actual opinions on shit are, instead of just seeing what the people in the YouTube content analysis rabbit holes have told you.
You know what? I agree with that 100%. Like, I'm just in a place where I want to enjoy life in general. I want to be able to, and 2020 is not the year for trying to realize that, I don't think. But
no, absolutely not.
I'm trying to just be able to take in silliness and have fun and live in the moment and all of this stuff. And I can stand firm in my belief that I know that Spaceballs isn't my cup of tea. I just know it's not. But it shouldn't frustrate me as much as it does.
Yeah, I think the Schwartz isn't with you, and that's fine. But I do think that you don't need to beat yourself up for not liking it, and you don't need to be like, well, maybe in 7 years I'll send you a mind DM and say, oh, well, I love this movie now. I understand exactly what they were going for. I do think that you got to allow yourself to watch things and decide, hey, I like this thing or I don't like this thing, and you're starting to like stand and understand your opinions of it, which is great. What did you like about game night so much? You brought that up as the first thing.
Yeah. It cinematically, it is just in terms of storytelling, I liked the when they would foreshadow, like, it was this dark. It's okay. As soon as the movie starts, you realize, like, oh, the tone of this isn't a straight up comedy. Mm-hmm. When the movie starts, it has this beautiful intro where there's game pieces, and it has this sinister music, and it's a gorgeous film. The way they introduce the protagonists, both protagonists, they're, I don't want to spoil it, but it's the exposition. These two characters are both very competitive, and they both love board games. And you see them meet each other, and the way they come together, they this chemistry, and then it goes on this montage of them in different game night scenarios, and it's this, cinematically speaking, it's a fucking beautiful film, and every actor kills it. The fucking, who's the dude from Breaking Bad that everyone there's a lot of people that everyone hates from Breaking Bad. That
doesn't narrow it down a whole lot.
Yeah, Todd. You remember Todd?
Jesse Plemons, yeah.
Yes. That dude, so goddamn funny. I can watch Game Night over and over again, and every time he's on screen, I audibly crack the fuck up. Because he takes the role so seriously, and he uses that creepiness about him in a way that is hilarious. And I can never predict what's going to happen. Like, when I watch Spaceballs, I'm like, yep, that makes sense that this joke would happen. When I watch Game Night, even though I've seen it multiple times, I'm like, fuck, I forgot that you say or do this. It just subverts expectation in a way that I love.
I think maybe then this is the case. Maybe the real case is that you don't like the style of comedy where it's wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we're in a comedy movie. Yeah. You want it to be played straight.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. It just means you like smart comedies.
I think you're right. This has gotten very armchair. Let's analyze Aaron right now. But
yes, I should have been sitting in this chair the whole time.
And I need a couch and like a bowl of mints. I don't know why there needs to be a bowl of mints.
Yeah, well, you need something to stress eat.
Of course. Yeah, it's. When what you were saying about that transition point in your life, I'm just in there where I agree that, like, I can not like the movie, but I want so bad to like the movie. And it's this weird dichotomy, understanding my own real, honest, inner beliefs about stuff, being able to take in people's opinions and feedback openly while also not internalizing too much. There's a lot of balance I'm working with in my life right now. And I know I'll figure it out, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But
it's a tough thing to figure out and balance, man. That's the real downside. I mean, comics are much more inclined to figure that shit out because we have, by nature of the art form that we're trying to pursue, we've put ourselves in this position where we get feedback immediately about our own opinions.
Yeah.
And sometimes people aren't going to like our opinions, and we have to not take it personally. We can very easily not take it personally on stage, but off stage, we're still sensitive as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's just the only thing,
dude.
That's where you're at.
I'm so fucking sensitive. Like, I'm like a Care Bear with my feelings. Like my feelings are very open, but also easily touched in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. What are other people like on this podcast? What is this podcast normally like?
It kind of depends.
Okay.
I have had a couple where it's been sort of like analytical like this.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting because what I've been running into a lot recently on episodes is a movie that people don't like that I'm a big fan of. And I usually don't try and convince people to watch the movie and enjoy it again. And I'm not going to try and do that for you because the same thing is happening like it has in other episodes where I totally understand your critique of the movie and think it's valid. But I do think it's just a taste thing. Like I did a couple episodes ago, I talked about Uncut Gems with Kyle Reel. And I love Uncut Gems. Yeah. Kyle hated Uncut Gems.
Oh, he's wrong. I don't know that guy. He's fucking wrong. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is Kyle's opinion of the movie is basically he hated how the movie made him feel. And I loved how the movie made me feel. All the stuff that he hated was stuff that I was like, this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to have a difference of opinion. And I'm not going to say, like, he's wrong for feeling a certain way of, like, not liking a movie that makes him feel anxious and upset the way that Uncut Gems does. Like, it's a totally valid thing. Of course, most people aren't going to want to feel anxious and upset while watching a movie.
Right. I love that
But
shit.
I love it too, man. And that's why I love that movie. That's why I think Uncut Gems is one of the best movies that I have ever seen. It's like top 5 for me.
Fuck yeah. I have 2 other things I just realized, and that is, okay, here's a silly movie. Like, if you ever watch Game Night, please let me know what you think. But
I will. I will let you know what I think as soon as I watch it.
here's another movie that is on a sillier spectrum, but I love is Blockers. Did you see Blockers?
No, but I'm familiar with it. It's got, what, John Cena and Leslie Mann?
Yeah.
Like Barinholtz?
The other people. Yeah, funny people.
And then the three teenage girls.
So I think the current climate, and it is so frustrating because I want to take things like race and socio-political shit out of. I want to just fucking enjoy things, but I think I'm in a place mentally and emotionally where when I'm watching a movie, I'm like, oh, there's a 40-year-old white dude. Here's another one and another one, and so I think that's another thing that's affecting me is I'm watching modern movies that have people that look like me or people that don't look like the same thing I've been seeing my whole life.
Right.
And so Blockers, I can't praise that movie enough. Have you seen we're same age, American Pie?
Actually, I've never seen American Pie.
Oh, ooh.
I was very sheltered as a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch bad movies like that. I wasn't allowed to see Scary Movie either. And to this day, I haven't seen. The only Scary Movie I've seen was Scary Movie 3 because it was the first PG-13 one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
But it's okay. Well, I mean, hey, that whole movie redeems itself when you get to see Leslie Nielsen peeing out of his finger. Oh, we're not so different.
Yeah, yeah. But, okay, so you know the premise of American Pie at all?
A guy fucks a pie.
Yeah, there you go. It's the whole movie. It's just a porno, really. It's basically the classic, like, Porky's group of friends in high school wants to lose their virginity by
by prom night. Yeah,
right. And same exact premise, but this modern twist and this modern perspective on things. And I'm not a fan of like woke culture. I think it can get up its own ass.
Yes,
but Blockers does this beautiful job at balancing conservative opinion, liberal opinion, lampooning both. Everyone's wrong and everyone's right. I like seeing perspectives that I've never seen. I had never seen a prom movie like that from the female perspective, and I was like, oh fuck, is this what girls thought in high school? Because I never thought about it like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas
did you see Booksmart?
I did not. Should I have?
Booksmart, if you like Blockers, you probably really like Booksmart because it's a female-driven high school movie. It's like female Superbad.
That's my. I love Superbad, by the way. Love Superbad, but
love Superbad. But I love Booksmart too.
Yeah, I guess I'm in this place where I don't want the world to be affecting me in everything I do so much, but it is, and I'm trying to.
You're wearing the weight of the world on your shoulders, dude.
I know, but I can't even.
Atlas Chase over here.
I don't want to, but it's where I live. It's River. You know I live in Riverside.
Yeah,
dude. This is already getting away from movies. I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay.
I had a moment today in the grocery store that was so fucked up and weird, and if as soon as I step out of my room, it feels like I'm in not a battle zone, but it feels like I'm in enemy territory. I don't feel comfortable anywhere. I'm stressed out. I'm always like nervous. And so like I don't know if this is what you were expecting with this podcast, but like That's why I want so bad to enjoy Spaceballs. I want to be able to be like, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Look at his dick. Oh, the pizza man's face. I want that so bad.
They made a pizza joke.
He made Pizza Hut. Am I right? That's a franchise. Like,
yeah.
I want to have fun with it so bad because I want to disconnect from the world, and I haven't been able to do that, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, yeah.
Well, I can't solve those problems.
Yeah.
And we're out of time anyway, but good luck. Seriously, I do think that you should. What I think if you know what kind of comedies you like,
yeah,
and so take the chance to branch out if you want, but don't beat yourself up for not liking Spaceballs. Like, it's fine to not like Spaceballs. You can be serious minded and still appreciate some silly things, and you'll find what those silly things are.
Yeah.
If Spaceballs isn't your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. Nothing you can do about that.
How about this? What's a movie in that vein that you think I should watch? And I'll watch it.
Well, I mean, if we're in the like overtly silly vein, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
If we're in the best Mel Brooks movies vein, Young Frankenstein. Okay. And because Young Frankenstein is very stupid, but it's also got a lot of really good stuff. And Blazing Saddles, of course.
Okay, then.
So watch those.
I've seen Blazing. I actually own Blazing Saddles. I will make a point to watch Young Frankenstein with a reasonable expectation.
Yeah.
And whenever I don't know what's going to happen. Whenever I do, I will be messaging you, sir.
Please let me know what you think of it.
Awesome.
Where can the listeners find you on the social media and stuff if they want to tell you some other silly movies that you should watch?
Yeah. Or just give me a pep talk. Whatever you need to do. My Instagram's AaronChase91. That's Aaron. Chase like the bank 91. You're the Rugrats. What else? I run the Buddy System. It's a comedy production company. It has all of our podcasts. So it has the comedy, the Buddy System comedy on YouTube, and I think it's a Buddy System Co on Instagram.
Okay.
And we have podcasts Monday through Friday, and it's a different podcast every single day with different people, different styles, all that stuff. And if you want to find me on the street, just text me, DM me your phone number. I have a text list, a Fight Club style text list where I let people know, like, all right, here's where I'm going to be. And I'll be out here for such and such time, then I'm going to fucking run away because it's getting crazy out there.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, man.
Get on Aaron's lists. Go check him out. You can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram. And subscribe to the Patreon. We're doing bonus episodes. We're doing Blockbusting Film Club. And all sorts of fun stuff's coming down the pipeline now that I got my sweet new internet in my new house. As you can see, it still has a lot of building to do, but we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. And don't breathe the air outside, all right? Be safe. Aaron, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.